Wait for it. Wait for it. Am I live? Am I really live? I'm so excited. Facebook is so annoying because I can never tell. I don't know why it is doing this. It's letting me do some customization. I don't want to do customizations. I barely know which button to push to go live. This is so weird. You know how left is right and up and down when I do live, so I got to make sure I get this thing out of my eye. Hold on. I'm having a very good eyeliner day, and I want everybody to be able to see it. Particularly since I'm giving you my absolute best, my best sweater, my best wig, in order to give you the early March ask. It's that time again. As usual, I'm always a little bit late. Why? Because I'm always so trepidatious about doing the asks. And I need to get over myself on that. The fact of the matter is, asks are part of my own praxis. It's what keeps Lace on Race going, and it allows us to keep giving you the best content we have, both original and aggregated. It allows us to keep funding our community partners. It allows us to create a reserve so that we can eventually have another paid staff person that I can pay for an entire year, because nobody should feel like they're worried about whether or not they're going to get paid. It allows us to be able to partner with amazing community organizations here in San Diego and across the country. It allows us to be able to be together in the bistro and soon to come chef's table. First, the ask, so I can get it out of the way, and I'm going to do a little bit at the end so now you guys know. Like I said, it is the early March ask, and I am saying it with incredible joy. Hey, you guys, despite the mishigas of last month, we're still here. We're still doing everything that we do. In fact, we're doing more of it. We are getting ready to launch Chef's Table, which will be our premier dining experience, except you won't be dining. You'll be chopping, you'll be sauteing, you'll be peeling potatoes, you will be learning how to serve and how to serve well in community. That is the most important part and the most exciting part for me, that we are going to be able to take community to an entirely new level. In order to do this, in order to pay for the stuff of Lace on Race, and that, let's be blunt, that's me. I'm the single biggest expense of Lace on Race. Yeah, in order to make sure that my mug sticks around, yeah, we got to do the ask. Right now, we're going to be honest. Holly did some damage. I said that last time. She did. February, we got about half of our usual revenues, and we do have enough of a reserve that we were able to cover costs. That said, and also in faith, we already funded our first March community partners, Bertie Gutierrez and Bridges of Love across the border here in San Diego County. The need was immediate. She is serving COVID victims across the border, and it is a big deal for us to be able to partner with her fast, and to partner with her completely. We're not backing off of that. We never will. In addition, we also have another community partner for March that we're funding, and of course, the Lace on Race Mental and Emotional Health Fund. We depend on you for all of that, and to make sure that we are able to continue doing what we're doing. What we're doing. It's also a non-negotiable part of your praxis if you are someone who has chosen to walk with us in a sustained and reliable way here at Lace on Race, and or in the bistro, and or in Chef's Table. um, we make money a real thing. We feel here at Les on Race that white supremacy and racism are primarily economic constructs, and how you spend your money matters. We are right in the throes of the Amazon boycott because we stand with and for workers. And when workers ask us to do something, we do it. It should be the same thing in your praxis when it comes to marginalized people, and in your community walking as well. So, sustainers, if you have not yet done your sustaining for March, and if you didn't in February, I ask that you do so. For people who are considering becoming sustainers, or who are already sustainers in training, that includes those of you in Chef's Table, because being in Chef's Table does assume this part of your praxis as non-negotiable. We ask that you also make sure that you have made your March commitment. For those of you who are at the takeout window and pay a la carte, this is also your time. We are going to be doing asks more frequently because last month was funky month, and we need to continue to be able to do the things that we say we're going to do, and to continue to create the quality and the quantity of content that you all still want. Here's the funny thing about last month. We lost about 100 people by the end of the month. We gained about 100 people at the end of the month, so it's pretty much a wash. That said, our revenues dipped in half. So there are still some of you who are part of the Lace on Race community who have, I'm going to be careful how I say this, very careful in how I say this, who might have used the Michigas in February as a reason to withhold or suspend your financial engagement with Lace on Race. And I understand. I mean, who wants to give money to a cult leader? But you're still here. And if you're here, then I assume you want this place to stay. Whether or not you are here because of right reason, or if you're here still rubbernecking from last month, or if you're here, frankly, as a bad actor, you know, you can't have me to deride if I'm not around. So I am asking for that ask. But now I'm going to pivot and pivot hard. There are a lot of new people who are here for whatever reason, good actors, looky loos, not so great actors. If you are here for whatever reason, it is important that you keep our guidelines and our pin posts in mind. We have a collective shared ethos that has not wavered since the beginning of February. It's still in place. So I do ask that you look at the guidelines. I do ask that you read the pinned posts. We are going to be going in the bistro and also in takeout window one by one on the pin post, and we're going to be rerunning the guidelines videos that I did in December. They are still important, they are still valid, they are still extant, particularly now as we are in a way reforming from the Michigas. um, we need to make sure that we are tight, that we are unified. Let's tell the truth. Holly did some real damage, but she did exactly the amount of damage that you all nice people allowed her to do. I'm going to say that again. Holly had influence to the extent that you allowed her to have influence. That puts it not on Holly, but on each of us individually and on us as a community. I think that a month has passed. We've talked about it and we're going to continue to talk about it. Not so much about Holly, but about the general principles that and the general themes that emerged over this last month. We're also going to talk about Black History Month, even during the Michigas. And thanks to my loyal team and staff, and that includes particularly Laura, who was yeoman in this. While I was dealing with the Michigas, she was keeping our commitment to do a Black History Month honoree every single day in February. And now in Women's History Month, we're going to be presenting you with some women who you may know, but hopefully in a different way, and also some women that you may not have heard of. In addition, we are also going to be doing and starting our relational ethics series. Again, it was going to be the good place, and we're still going to do the good place, but all of this that went on is a lesson, and we're going to learn it. And that's one reason I have been doing and placing so many memes and articles and aggregated articles from other people um, as a teaser for the relational ethics series itself. We're going to be talking about relationships. We're going to be talking about how to do them well. We're going to be talking about how white and white adjacent people can or cannot, may or may not, will or will not either buy into or confront and challenge white supremacy. Our North Star that I'm contractually obligated to talk about each and every time I do a video is this: to lessen and mitigate the harm endured by Black and Brown people perpetuated by white people and white supremacy. That includes white people, and it also includes people with white adjacency. We added white supremacy as that last clause in the North Star for a reason. You don't have to be white to participate in white supremacy. You do not have to be white in order to cause harm. And one of the things we're going to be talking about is that very difficult and sometimes inconvenient truth that people of color also cause harm. That is why we are going to be reinvigorating the groups in the bistro, including BIPOC and Black diaspora, so that we can, outside of the white gaze, talk about how we can best support each other and love on each other and confront and challenge what we see outside. We do not have to live the way white supremacy would have us live. We do not have to harm each other in the ways that white supremacy harms each other. We do not have to approach each other and relate to each other from an idea of scarcity or an idea of competition. We're going to talk about all of that in the groups. So, and oh, yes, to those of you in the groups, it is great to see you. Your being in the groups, like I said, in addition to your commitment to financial engagement, it also means a commitment to sustained engagement in the bistro itself and in the groups. It's not enough to be a looky loo. And the minute that you're in the bistro, then you're sort of giving up your right to be a looky loo. We need to see you. We need to see your faces. We need to hear your voices. That is an important part. In order for Lace on Race to thrive, yes, we need financial engagement. Second part, if you haven't given us money, give us money. This is me shaking you down for money. How am I doing? How am I doing? But also, I want you. I want you, particularly in the bistro, but also in the takeout window. We also want to talk about these new people and people who are returning after the month who might have forgotten some of our guidelines. I invite you to read the guidelines and to remember the norms that we set up in fall of last year. The norms are still extant. Comment on every post, respond to at least 2 other people. That's important for us to do. We are going to be as strong, we are going to be as influential, we are going to be as ongoing as we allow ourselves to be. And to the extent that what happened was successful last month, it's going to be to the extent that you all let it. Is that a challenge? It is, but it's also a truth. We're going to keep doing this. And one of the wonderful things, and we're going to have a very specific video and essay about the endowment. One of the things that the endowment allows us to do is to think long term. And I was on retreat last week and I found myself thinking about long term, not just 5 days down the road or 5 weeks or 5 months, but 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road. We want you with us. At Lace on Race, we say that we lead leaders, we mentor mentors, we influence influencers. And all of you are leaders and mentors and influencers, one way or the other. If there's anything that I learned from the last month, it's that you can lead leaders and mentor mentors and influence influencers. But it's assumed that that is always a positive thing. It is not always. And we need to tell the truth about that and confront it. You can lead leaders in ways that are not healthy. You can mentor mentors in ways that take them off of the North Star. You can influence influencers in ways that are not conducive to or in alignment with your stated values or their stated values. To be a leader, to be an influencer, to be a mentor takes a certain amount of intentionality. It is a mantle on your shoulders. I am very aware of that responsibility every single time I make a video, every single time I sit down to write, every single time I'm thinking of each of you individually and collectively, that I have a deep responsibility to each of you, and that will not waver. It has not wavered. The only way that last month has any value whatsoever is if we decide collectively that we are going to take the lessons, and we've had deep talks about last month in the bistro. If you are not registered for the bistro, register for the bistro, hie thee over there and get into the conversation. It's an important conversation, and it has to do with the future of Lace on Race. And in fact, dare I say, the future of racial justice work in the aggregate. There's a lot of things that in March I'm going to hope that you get in. that you get in, that you get in, that you get into reliability, that you get into relentlessness, that you get into this is what you get up for in the morning, that it becomes as urgent and as non negotiable as it is for me and for my team and for my staff. The stakes are incredibly high, and we learned that last month. So I encourage you to do the work that you're here to do, the work that you said you were going to do. And here's another encouragement that seems kind of counterintuitive, but it isn't really. If not here, if you don't want to do the work with resilience and resolve and relentless reliability here, then do it somewhere else. But do not allow what happened with my ex-employee Holly to stop you from doing the work at all in that sustained and integral and authentic way. I am not arrogant enough to think that the only way to do racial justice work and to do applied relational ethics is through me exclusively. I am arrogant enough to say I think I do it pretty well and you might want to stick around. But if you decide that you don't want to, if you decide you want to put your phone down or close your laptop, then do it somewhere. And what I am afraid of, I'm not afraid of whether or not Lace on Race is going to continue to exist. That's settled. We're here. Don't worry. What I am worried about is the people who did choose to fall away, who not just walked away from Lace on Race, but walked away from a racial justice praxis in general. And in that sense, Holly did immeasurable damage. She did damage not only to the people who decided to walk away and put down the mantle, they hold that responsibility as well as Holly, but also to the Black and Brown people that we wake up for, that we are here to lessen and mitigate the harm for. And to the extent that Holly succeeded, she increased the harm that is endured to Black and Brown people. And that is some white supremacist mishigas. And I will not stand for it. And I hope you don't either. There's more coming. I'm going to switch out my sweater so it looks like it's another day, because you know how I do that. I do a lot of videos in one day and then we post them up and then you think it's different, but it really isn't. It's just a different sweater. It's one of the tricks I learned as a cult leader. If you change your saffron robes, or in this case, flamingos, if you change your sweater, then people think that you're not on the mountain in your Lamborghini at your $5 billion mansion. They actually really do think that you're just in the kitchen. Y'all, I love you. I cannot wait to continue doing this work with you because this work is important. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on with the royal family in Britain and how that has affected Black and Brown women, particularly Black women. Wow, white supremacy is still real. We are still needed, and I still need you. I need your eyeballs. I need your financial engagement. I need your fingers tapping on the keys for commentary. I need to see you so that we can continue walking together. I'm running out of juice, so I'm going to hang up now, but expect more. I love you all. Keep walking.